And what that is just basically a small box that my dad built me that you put sand in, and every once in a while, man, it just turns into a total mess. And it's my job to clean that up before the next client comes in, so that for a few reasons. One is confidentiality, like nobody can know what the child before them did. And then also, you don't want somebody walking into a dirty room. It's not fair to the next person. And again, it's not one of those things that makes me so frustrated I want to give up the job or anything like that. It's nothing like that. But it does just every once in a while, it's like, I've got to clean up the sand again. So, whatever those things are for you, if you would like, feel free to post those in the chat. As we talk through these, there may be some things that are funny that stick out to you. If there are, please, please, please feel free to post that in the chat, or any thoughts or questions. I'm not sure how often I'm going to be able to glance at my screen. I kind of have a few different things open here. So I'm not sure how often I'm going to be able to glance at the screen and actually look at comments that are being posted as we go through. But if you do have those things, feel free to post them. And then as I'm able to review this later, maybe I can answer some questions or send back comments or something like that. So let's get started with our parenting pep rally today. Like I said, I've just got some affirmations that I'd like for us to talk through. Affirmation number 1, my child and I are learning as we go. Oh man, take a deep breath and remind yourself of that one. My child and I are learning as we go. What a great thing to remind yourself that it's okay to learn new lessons. For both you and your child, it's okay to learn new lessons. So many times as parents, we may start to feel inadequate, or like we're just never going to figure this out. What's going to happen when they're 10, or what's going to happen when they're 12 or 15 or 17 or whatever it might be? What's going to happen then? And we feel so unprepared right now, working with the kids that we have right now, or raising the kids that you have right now. And you start to think about, what's going to happen when? And you think so far into the future that you can start to really get yourself anxious. And what you can know is that you're going to be learning lessons along the way. So if your child is 8 years old, then know you are not ready for them to be 12, because you haven't learned the lessons you need to get them to age 12. If your child is 12, then know you are not ready right now for your child to be 16, because you've got a long time to be ready for that. So many times you want to look so far into the future, and just take a deep breath and remind yourself you're going to learn along the way. You're going to learn more about your child is going to learn more about you. And or if you're working with kids, the children that you're working with, you're going to learn more about them, and they're going to learn more about you. And you can learn as you go. It's okay to learn new lessons. The other thing is about feeling inadequate. When I look back over my career, so I've been in the mental health field for over, started when I was 21. So 13 years now, about 13 years that I've been working in the mental health field, and professionally. Now, as far as being involved in the mental health field, over 20 years. But about 13 years of working professionally in the mental health field. And I look back at how I was when I first started, and looking back on it now, I'm like, oh man, I would have done so much better in this situation if I would have known this. And I just didn't. I didn't know. I didn't know then what I know now. And so it's okay to give yourself that grace that, you know what, I'm going to continue to learn as I go, and no, I wouldn't make some of the same decisions that I've made before. I didn't know as well as I know now. Back then, I didn't know that. And so it's okay for me to have learned a lesson, and it's okay for me to have even still more lessons to be learning. My child and I are learning as we go. What a beautiful thing to remind yourself. Let's look at this next one together. My child is not giving me a hard time. They are having a hard time, and I can help. My child is not giving me a hard time. They are having a hard time, and I can help. Woo! Let's talk about this one. So many times I will visit schools and talk to them about different difficulties that they're having with certain students. And they'll say things like, they just did that for no reason, or I don't know why they hate me so much, or I don't know why they hate them so much. And the big thing to remember is your child is not giving you a hard time. They are having a hard time. And as they are having that hard time, you are the one to help them, whether you are working with them again in a professional environment, or whether it's family or children that you help take care of. That child or those children are not giving you a hard time. They are having a hard time, and you can help. I've had clients before that as they're facing difficult situations, their behaviors start to peak. If a family member is in the hospital, for instance, which happened a lot over the past few years, different clients would come in and tell me about grandparents that were in the hospital, or parents that were in the hospital, or brothers or sisters that were in the hospital. And you would see a spike in some difficult behaviors, more aggressive behaviors, more emotional outbursts, more tantrums, things like that. And parents would say, I don't know why they're doing this to me, because we're already dealing with so much. So-and-so's in the hospital, and I'm having to run around. I'm having to work extra jobs to take care of all this stuff. I don't know why they would just want to give me a harder time than I'm already having. And the thing that you can know is that in those situations, if you are stressed, your child is even more stressed, because you have the language to explain how it is you're feeling. Small children under about the age of 12, do not have the ability to express verbally, to say in words what's going on in their heart and in their minds. And so imagine that you are 12 years old and you are feeling the amount of stress that you are feeling, but you are able to say, I know I'm feeling stressed because so-and-so's in the hospital and I'm having to work extra jobs, on and on and on and on. You have the words for those things. Now imagine being someone who doesn't have the ability to be able to express it. They just have the feeling that's wrapped up inside of them about feeling that way. They are going through a hard time. In those stressful moments, in those moments where you feel like you are at the end of your rope already and you've already had it up to here, just remember that your child has already risen beyond their rope and their levels are beyond what they can handle on their own. They are not trying to give you a hard time. They are having a hard time. One thing that I like to remind parents is that it's not you versus your child. It is you and your child versus whatever is going on with your child. It is not you versus their tantrums. It is you and your child versus whatever it is that is causing those tantrums. And if you can remind yourself of that, then you can remind yourself, my child is not giving me a hard time. They are having a hard time, and you can be the one to help. Let's look at this next one together. I will choose to model what I want to see in my children. I will choose to model what I want to see in my children. Oh, this one is so, so important. I cannot tell you how many times I have spoken with a parent, and they are explaining to me that they told their child what to do, that they told their child to clean up their room. Uh, but then when I talk to the child will say, I don't know how to do that. And maybe there's disagreement. Maybe the parent believes they do know how to do it, whatever. Or let me give a better example where a child will be, or a parent will be verbally aggressive. Not physically aggressive, that's a whole different situation, but verbally aggressive. So they don't get their way and then they start to yell at people that work at my office or me or whatever it might be. They start to yell, or maybe they're out at a restaurant and the order got wrong. And so they see their parents start to become verbally aggressive with the staff. And then their child will start to be more aggressive. And their child may start to fight more often or talk back more often, or just be oppositional is the professional term for it. They just start to do things that one of the best ways to think about it is back in the day when people would say a child needs to stay in a child's place. It's children coming out of that place, which actually is a good thing that we don't talk that way anymore. It shouldn't be, well, I'm an adult, so I automatically have more than you have because you're a child. That's another topic for another day. But I will choose to model. And so the child will start to do more things like that. And they'll say, they've never seen me hit anybody. I don't know why they're hitting people. They've never seen me cuss. I don't know why they're cussing. Different things like that. But the mimicked behavior is aggression. So to a child, they just see aggression and they just decide that all aggression must be okay in all circumstances. When they feel aggressive, it's just okay to act on those things because I saw mom or I saw dad be verbally aggressive or be aggressive in some way, so it must be okay for me. And the parent will say, I don't know where they get that from. Children model what they see, not what you tell them to do. Children model what they see, not what you tell them to do. If you tell a child that they need to shower and that's a fight every day, maybe you should think about how well you show your child about self-care. If you have a child who is aggressive or gets in a lot of fights at school, maybe you need to think about the way that you speak to people while your child is watching. If you have a child who is socially anxious or doesn't want to go to school, maybe you need to think about how often they see you do things with other people. All of these things are modeled behaviors, and children will do what they see more, much more than what they are told. And so you as a parent, your job can be to model what you want to see in your children. Not tell them, not try to explain it, but model for your child what you want to see in them. And if you will do that, that can help your child learn what to do in different situations. Not just what not to do or what they think you meant, but they will see it and they will be able to model that. Children model what they see much more than they do what they are told. Let's look at this next one. In taking care of myself, I'm teaching my kids the value of self-care. In taking care of myself, I'm teaching my kids the value of self-care. This one goes right along with what we just wrapped up about. I choose to model the behavior I want to see in my children, modeling self-care. How does that look for you? Do you make sure that you get a date night with your partner and your child knows it's date night and that you are going to go do that? Do you have good hygiene yourself? Do you take care of yourself? Do you model that for your child? Do you have hobbies? Do you have fun things that you just enjoy doing? Do you take some time to just rest and relax each day? Are you a journaler? Do you meditate? Do you do yoga? Do you exercise? What is it that you do for your self-care that your child knows is you taking care of you? Because if you are not modeling that for your child, then they are not going to be able to learn it for themselves. So many times parents don't want to take the time to take care of themselves, but they expect their child to take the time to take care of themselves. If you don't model it, they won't do it. You need to model the behavior that you want to see in your child, not just tell them that it's important and that you think that they should, but model it for them. That also means that it is important for you to take care of yourself. We've all heard the analogy that when you're on the airplane and the masks come down, they tell you that you, or I guess during the drill, rarely do they actually come down in flight, but during the drill they say, if these masks come down, make sure you secure your own mask before you help a family member. The reason for that is because if you are trying to do someone else's mask before you do yours, then you might pass out before you get their mask on, and then you're both out. But if you put yours on, yeah, they might pass out, but you're going to be able to revive them by reapplying that mask. And it's only one person out for a short period of time rather than both of you out for a long period of time while they're running around trying to get everyone. The same is true just in everyday life. If you are not taking care of yourself, you are not going to be able to take care of your child. And then let's look at that generationally. If you are not taking care of yourself, then you are not going to be able to take care of your child. If your child is not able to be taken care of, then they will not know how to take care of their children or how to take care of themselves later in life. If you don't take care of yourself, then your child will not be able to see how to take care of themselves. If you don't take care of yourself, you are not going to be able to take care of your child. And then if you don't take care of yourself, then your child will not see how to take care of themselves. And then don't be surprised when their grades start to fall, because guess what? Grades are a whole lot less important to a child than their self-care, than their self-worth. Don't be surprised when aggressive behaviors start to go up, because when you don't feel so great about yourself, you start to lash out at other people. If you don't model self-care for your child, there's no other way that they're going to learn it. You need to make sure that you are taking time for yourself. In taking care of yourself, you are teaching your children the value of self-care. How valuable is that to you? Do you believe that it's important? Do you want your child to take care of himself or herself or themselves? If you want them to do that, you are going to have to model the behavior of self-care, not just tell them that it would be great if they went and read a book, or tell them it would be great if they journaled, or tell them it would be great if they went to therapy. You are going to have to model that behavior for them so that they learn how to do it and that it is really okay to do it. Make sure you take care of yourself. That's the bottom line. All right, let's look at this next one together. Despite the challenges, my children feel loved and safe. Ooh. Despite the challenges, my children feel loved and safe. So many times as parents, it is very easy to get wrapped up in all of the noise, all of that static fuzz on your television that tell you, here's what it means to be a good parent. You have to be able to buy your kids these things. You have to be able to take them on these trips. You have to make sure that they have this kind of food. You have to make sure that they are able to do this at school. You have to make sure that they're part of this club. You have to make sure that they have this many extracurriculars, on and on. They're in this many different other activities, that they've joined all these different teams. And there's so many things telling you that you are not a good parent if you don't do them. Let me tell you that if your children feel loved and safe, that is the most important thing that you can give them. For a child to feel loved and safe, everything else can work its way out. They may not have a tablet, but you know what? If a child feels loved and safe, they will not miss out on any level of creativity because they'll know even their wildest ideas are accepted. They may not always have the organic, fresh fruit and cage-free eggs that are like $9 a dozen right now. They might not have those things, but if a child feels loved and safe, then every single meal will be one that they can look forward to and get their energy from. They may not always be able to go on the Disney World, Disneyland vacation, but if a child feels loved and safe, then it won't matter if you're in Orlando, Florida, or if you're spending the night overnight in a hotel that has a pool, because your child feels loved and safe. Or if they're just splashing around in the bathtub, smiling and laughing. There is not a more important thing that you can give your child than for them to feel loved and to feel safe. And let me tell you this, if despite all of the challenges, if you can say, my child feels loved and safe, you are succeeding as a parent. It might be that dinner sometimes is PB&J. It might be that vacation is a staycation. It might be that, no, you can't help them with every single homework assignment. No, you might not be able to get them every single gift that they want on their Christmas list. But if they feel loved and they feel safe, everything else just kind of finds a way of working itself out. So despite all of the challenges, and there are many, despite all of those challenges, if you can say, my child feels loved and safe, then you can know that as a parent, you are succeeding. You can know that as a parent, you have given your child the best thing that you possibly can, and that is to feel loved and to feel safe. One of my favorite, anecdotes, that's going to be the word I'll use. One of my favorite anecdotes for therapy, the type of therapy that I do, is from a man. His name is Gary Landreth. And Gary Landreth, he kind of developed a lot of this modality that I use that's called child-centered play therapy. In child-centered play, I just kind of let, it sounds much more brief than the science behind it, but kids come into my office and they're able to just hang out and talk to me about whatever's on their mind. They're able to play with all the toys that I have. And Gary Landreth is the one who really created the science behind this. And like I said, there is a science to it. It's not just that children come in and play with toys. I was clicking through some slides trying to figure it out. I'm so sorry that I got distracted and I was talking at the same time. But there is a lot of science to it. So I should not have said that kids just come in and play with toys, because that wouldn't be very therapeutic. But the kids come in, and by me saying different things, they are able to make connections in their brains and learn about how things were and the things that they've been through and maybe what they need to work through or whatever diagnosis they're working on, goals, all that kind of thing. And I was in a training with Gary Landreth, and he said, how did Clark Kent become Superman? And there were many hands that were going up it was a virtual training, and many hands going up. And people said, well, he would go in the phone booth. Clark Kent would go in the phone booth and put on the Superman outfit and jump out, and that's how he would become Superman. And many people agreed, me included. And Gary Landreth said, no, Superman was born Superman. He just needed a safe space to be able to show the rest of the world that that's who he already was. As parents, that is our job. And remember, here at MisterStuTV, we use the definition of parent given by Dr. Dan Siegel in his book, The Whole Brain Child. That is anyone who is doing the important task of raising and nurturing children. If you are in that boat, just know that your number one goal is to provide a safe space for the children in your care to show the rest of the world how amazing they already are. It's not your job to try to change them or mold them or push them to do different things. It is just your job to provide a safe place for children to show the rest of the world how amazing they already are. And if you are doing that, if you are providing a space where children feel safe, where children feel loved, then you are doing an amazing job as a parent. Despite all of the challenges, despite all of the arguments, despite all of the noise and all of the feedback, if you are providing a space for your child that feels safe and where they can feel loved, then you are an incredible parent. I hope that you will remember these things that we talked about today, just as you go through each day. And as it's tough sometimes, it is so tough sometimes. As you go through it, remind yourself that it's okay to learn new things, that your child is not giving you a hard time. They are having a hard time and you can help, that it's important to model for them the behaviors that you want to see, that it's important for you to show them about self-care by doing self-care for yourself, and that despite all of the challenges, my children feel safe and feel loved. And if you'll do that, you are an amazing parent. Keep up the great work. I know that it's difficult. We here at MisterStuTV are so excited about what's to come in the future for you and your children. Please keep us posted on it, and please stay up to date on all of our posts. Follow us on social media everywhere at MisterStuTV, and also on YouTube at MisterStuTV. Make sure to check us out. You're doing the best that you know how to do. Keep doing it and help your children feel safe and feel loved. I will be back again in 2 weeks, or is it 3? 3 weeks, because January has 5 Sundays. So I will be back again in 3 weeks on Sunday, February the 12th. And we will be talking about autism spectrum disorder. I'm looking up at my calendar. So in 3 weeks on February 12th at 5 p.m., I will be back for a discussion about autism spectrum disorder. We'll be talking about the symptoms, the diagnosis, and how autism is not just a fixed thing, that it is like a sentence, the period at the end of a sentence for your child. It is not that way. Autism spectrum disorder has grown a lot in the amount of research that we have for it. And so I'm very excited to share with you about that. So I will see you back here again in 3 weeks for autism spectrum disorder here on our Facebook Live at 5. Until then, be safe. And I'll see you next time. Peace and much love. Adios. Bye-bye.